Hello and welcome to another edition of the Mexican Soccer Show. My name is Cesar Hernandez, and we're here to talk about, of course, El Tri. We're going to talk about that win against South Korea. We're going to look ahead to the upcoming match against Sweden. There's so much to talk about when it comes to El Tri right now in Russia 2018. But before we get into that, let me introduce tonight's guests. We'll first start with Wiesel and Amy. I don't know who is where. Let's start with Amy. Amy, where are you? Are you still in Russia? Can I pronounce the name of the city that you're in right now?
I hope so, because if I can, you can't, we're gonna have a problem. Yes, I am still in Russia. I'm confused now. It's Yekaterinburg or it's Ekaterinburg, depending on what language you're saying it in. But
Okay.
yes, I'm in whatever city Mexico's playing in. I'm there. I know for sure the stadium's really close to me, so I'm in the right place.
Wiesel,
Yeah.
are you in Yekaterinburg?
Yes, it's Ekaterinburg is a city in Russia, east of the Ural Mountains. It's known for the Golden Dome Church on the of the Blood, built in the early 21st century of the site of the 1918 Romanov. I don't know. Yeah, it's Ekaterinburg in English, but I keep calling it because the Russians say Ekaterinburg. Well, whenever they don't put a ya, and then in Spanish is Ekaterinburg, Ekaterinburgo. I don't know, man. Feels like an Animaniacs.
It's all blur. It's all blur for you.
It's all blur. All we know is that it's 12 hours exactly from Pacific Coast time. So it's 7 a.m. here, 7 p.m. Pacific. So that's kind of cool. So you don't have to worry about talking back home for all the West Coast people that we talk to. But yeah, that's where it's at. It's 7 a.m. It feels like it's noon though with all the sun continuing.
And then we have Jason Marquez, who is luckily only 3 hours ahead of me. It's not 10 o'clock at night, so it's a little dark over there. But luckily, it's not 7 a.m. How are you doing, man?
I'm the only one in darkness here. That's fine. I could deal with that. Yeah, still Monday night here in Pennsylvania, but yeah, I'm good and excited and all kinds of other words about what's coming on Wednesday.
Words that we will be saying on this episode. Words we'll be saying during the Mexico match, and we're just hoping that they're going to be positive words because negative words are definitely not good, or so I've been told. All right, guys, let's jump into the big question. Here it is. 2 matches, 2 wins, nothing decided. In 2 words, how are you feeling ahead of Wednesday's match with Sweden? Wiesel.
Oh. Unsure still.
Another word. We need one more word after that.
Yeah, I was gonna say definitely unsure. Definitely, I'm not nervous, but not as I was confident. In fact, I was kind of confident with the Germany because there was nothing we could have done. I really thought we were gonna come out and do really well. When I said that, I was like, I think we're gonna score first, and Germany's gonna wake up. Kind of like what happened with Germany and Sweden. I felt that was gonna be our game almost in that sense. In that. Sweden would need a late goal to 2-1, and it was going to be Mexico. We would stand up and say, "Great job, Mexico!" But we lost against the world champion. Let's not. We did great. Now let's go into Korea. And then when we're going against Korea, I was like, we can beat this team. They're not that good, and we should be good. I felt confident about both of those. Come out of performances, I don't feel that way against Sweden, so it's I don't know if it's because of the nerves. I don't know if we would have played really bad or good. Doesn't matter. I don't feel as confident.
Okay.
Could be many different.
I feel like you got some mixed emotions there.
Yeah, it definitely is. Now the emotions set in, and that's why, on paper, I think we should beat this team, and I should be more confident than Korea, but not there.
Amy, your 2 words.
Completely unreal, and I think I just apply that to this whole experience altogether. It's completely unreal that we beat Germany and stuff. It's completely unreal that I'm here, and it's also completely unreal that everybody else has already qualified, or should basically with 2 wins, and yet more or less it didn't. That game against Germany, it was always going to come down to the match against Sweden, and if yesterday was any or whatever. Time changes, but if yesterday was any indication of how crazy things can get, that wasn't even Mexico. And we're going to be at the game, so we can check our phones, but just all of that is actually going to be happening in real time. It's just going to be unreal.
Yeah. No, I mean, luckily we live in 2018. We can like check our phones. You don't. It's not like in the 1990s. Maybe you'd have a radio thing. I don't even know what you would be doing back in like the 40s. I have no idea how technology worked back then, and no one cares. Let's go to Jason. Jason, your 2 words.
It's quite a lead-in. My 2 words. I kind of reflect my general attitude about this. I go with the word palpitation and the word emesis. Fancy word.
They don't have to go together?
They go together quite well. Well, they're 2 very descriptive words for how I'm feeling leading up to this very anxious moment on Wednesday. And the team's been great and everything is going well. But, this is set up for one of those historic kinds of failures that, like, I'm very anxious and nervous about. And I don't know. It's one of those things that just you got to fight against the negativity because everything from Mexico has been very positive so far, but it's a lot of anxiousness ahead of Wednesday.
I was hoping for one of you 3 to be really confident and be like, oh, like those 2 words,
That's
like
you.
No, because me, it's cautiously optimistic. It's the same thing. We're on the same level. I was really hoping for someone to be a lot more confident, say like, and be like, I don't know, just like victory now. I have no idea. That'd be a dumb thing to say. But just for someone to be like, we're a lot more like confident about facing the Swedish side, but we're all still kind of. It's good, but stuff can definitely go wrong for Ultini. I guess I kind of have the same exact feelings as you all. Because once again, I say cautiously optimistic, and I said that before the start of the tournament.
I think it goes to the fact that we are here again, and we looked at this match being a very, very important match, right? And then now it's kind of like we didn't beat Germany, we'd still be looking at this match. Yeah. Now we're more comfortable with a tie, and we can get the results. The odds are in our favor for sure, but it goes down that yes, we're confident that Osorio has prepared. He showed what he did against Germany. He showed what he did against Korea. But there's a little thing in the back of us that goes, but what if it all just kind of falls apart again like we've seen before in tournaments, and it's against Sweden? Like, regardless if we've forgiven it, if you haven't or not or whatever, against the 7-0 and the 4-1, you're always going to be like that person in the back of your head. But, it can happen again. So I think that's always going to be a reserve for Osorio's teams because of what he does. Hopefully he proves us again that he prepared against a team like Sweden and he's ready to go, because these 3 teams are all completely different. And it's funny how he's kind of playing them all with the same starting 11 almost. Kind of crazy.
So I have some people on Twitter that also responded to the question. Gabriel Salazar says that he's optimistic and overall satisfied with Mexico's performance thus far, confident they will obtain a positive result Wednesday. We also have Carlos Fugazi says his 2 words are anxiety growing. I feel that one. Manuel Mendieta says that he's confident we will get the win. Rick Wallviews says kind of nervous. It's difficult to keep the high energy going in the 3rd game. Spain, Portugal, Russia struggled and looked tired. Seems like such a Mexican thing to play so well, get results, and yet still get knocked out in the groups. I hope not, of course.
That is like the unlike.
Go ahead, Lisa.
So that's like the un-Mexican thing, because we always make it out of the groups.
Well, it's a very different opinion, I suppose. Gabriel Salazar says he's optimistic and overall satisfied with Mexico's performance thus far, confident they obtain a positive result Wednesday. And Stats818 says, I'm confident. I feel like Mexico is where we want them to be, in a position to make a statement win and close out strong. Rather be in Mexico's shoes than Sweden's. That's about it.
Yeah.
Halo 289 says, Wiso looking like a Cheeto thumb. I'm dead. I think they're just jealous of your hat, man.
Really quick, yes, you can start roasting on my hat. Because dude, I mean, you're in Russia. I gotta get one of these hats. Anyways, it's got a little pin to it too, so you can see on it. You can roast on it, dude. I actually wore it when I bought it the whole night, and it's the only way that Amy can find out where I was at. She said. In the midst of a ton of good job on the Cheeto one. Keep them coming.
All right, let's talk about the Mexico versus South Korea match. Mexico with the 2-1 win there. We got goals from Chicharito with a wonderful assist from Lozano. We got the penalty kick goal from Carlos Vela. Guys, your thoughts on that performance, thoughts on that result? Let's start with Amy on this. I mean, you were there. Just overall thoughts on this match.
I will say that, okay, we're a little anxious for the Sweden match, but I kind of went into this game like way more relaxed than I did the Germany game. Like when we were walking to the stadium for Germany, it was like, I can't wait to get there, but I also wish I didn't have to get there, because then that means the game's starting and it means, we have to actually face Germany. But getting to the Korea match was an entirely different feeling for me. It was like, okay, we need to get the win, and there's a chance, like I said on the past show, there's a chance we'll probably get a goal, scored on us or something. But it was like there was no way that we wouldn't win, if that makes sense. Like it's way too confident to go into it, but that's the way that it went. It was very relaxed the whole match. It seemed like they were dominating way easier than we expected them to, but. Kind of like what we also said last time, it seemed like those defensive mistakes were happening against Korea that didn't happen against Germany. And I was like, why, when it's a less challenging team? But overall, they did good. I also don't think, I said on the last show too that this was Gio's one and only game to prove what he could do, and that sub was, it was kind of useless. I didn't see much from him. There wasn't really anything that he did to contribute on the field, but. They got the win, so 2 wins. They're confident. They're gonna go into Sweden more confident because they have 6 points. But then they still have to work hard.
Yeah, really quickly in the chat, Angel says, if Osorio wants to sub out Guardado, then do it for Jonathan. Rafa was easily bested by Son on that goal.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna talk about Gio, I think bringing up Rafa as well as one of those, and also Tecatito, one of those subs, just was really, really a big disappointment for Mexico right there.
Yeah, like one of his first plays, he lost the ball, and then I gave him credit because he came back to try to recover it, but it wasn't good.
Yeah. Weasel, your thoughts, whether it be on performance, maybe any standout players? I mean, you were there as well. Any standout players that stood out to you?
Yeah, well, first as all the, just. We're seeing that in this World Cup that regardless if you're a favorite or not, it's going to be a hard, tough, one of the best World Cups that we've seen. Look at the matches that happened for us today, for you guys, for us yesterday, with Morocco and Iran, Japan beating Colombia. And it looks like these, the favorites are having problems beating, smaller teams or teams that are already eliminated in that sense. So to come out with a win and with a solid win. The late goal was just kind of, again, Rafa was Mexico letting off the gas, and Korea saying we're still going to fight with a golazo for sure. So to say that we have 6 points it's great. It's shaping up to be one of the best starts for Mexico in a World Cup. But when you're looking at what happened on the field, again, it wasn't a perfect game. Mexico still. The good thing I liked about them is that. It looked like they had some type of vision. This is what they wanted to do, right? You saw players doing little things that were differently than the Germany game. It wasn't just let's try to make it in and let's not open spaces for Korea's counter. But I overall enjoyed everything about the match on Saturday. As far as individuals' performances, I keep coming back to the work that Chicharito is doing off the field, getting that, and even coming back and defending. We saw him drop back a lot more this time. Everyone up front trying to do their part into helping out. Yeah, the subs were kind of weird. Really, really, just like what Amy said, just what happened with Tecatito was it felt like he just wasn't ready to play in a World Cup. Yeah. Every pass, and he knew he did bad too. I was really, really, really kind of surprised. I thought, especially in the game, he would have a way to counter and use his skills to go over 2 or 3 players, but it looks like no, he didn't try to do anything. And then Gio, what can we say about Gio? Still not for me, maybe because we were there and I couldn't really keep track of him. I didn't really see him do anything. My question was on Vela. I keep having a question as to why Guardado didn't take that penalty kick, and didn't really do any more research on that. But as soon as that penalty kick came in, I thought Guardado, captain, has been taking penalty kicks for us and making them. But it looked like Vela just, and it wasn't like Vela went up, hey, let me have it at a Neri Castillo because I'm feeling it. It was more like it was decided already. Vela was gonna take the PK, so that's kind of cool. I want to see if maybe Tom knew as to is he our designated PK taker there, I guess.
Yeah, I'm glad we brought Vela. Yeah, I think for me, other players that stood out were Moreno, Salcedo. I mean, Salcedo was my man of the match. I thought he was incredible out there. Of course, Chucky, and Ochoa. Jace, for you, any players that stood out to you from that match, other than, I mean, I guess for me, players are a little negative, like Gio, because I think that obviously he didn't have that good of a game.
Yeah, I think the subs, like you guys said, not so great. But the stand-up performances, it's a rare again for me. I mean, just that midfield performance has just been incredible. It's everything we wanted from him to always be. I think he's given us in these first 2 games, and it's been so important for Mexico. I think Mexico's most important player. And I like the one you just mentioned also, Cesar. Carlos Salcedo, I think, was massive in this game. Really strong performance. I like what I saw from him. Just the flexibility that he shows and that being able to be at the right back position, being able to be in that center back position, and the way that Mexico was using that back line. Sometimes it was 4, sometimes it was 3, and Salcedo was key to that. And I think he had a really good game against Korea.
Another thing that I want to talk about, I mean, you look at the stats, you look at how well Mexico's defense did, and you see that South Korea had a total of 9 shots blocked. I think most were from Salcedo and Moreno. And I mean, to you, Amy, do you think maybe Mexico was slightly lucky to walk away with the 2-1 win here? Is that too crazy to say that maybe South Korea could have potentially gotten another goal here, or is it just, I don't know, Mexico just had a strong performance, and regardless of what happened, they were the better side?
I think they were the better side, but I'll agree with one part of your question where, yeah, I think South Korea could have gotten another goal, just because I seen Rafa's mistake live was just like everything was going pretty well, and then it was like that defensive error that just like that can happen, that shouldn't happen, but sometimes happens.
Do you remember what the mood was like in the stadium? Like right after that happened, was there like a hush, or was there like any what was the reaction like in the stadium when Rafa made that
I just heard myself like scream Rafa really loud because I was just so mad. I was like, can't, like, because okay, he had a good performance against Germany, and okay, they subbed him way earlier than they did against Germany, right? This game, time wise, so I was like, all right, it's kind of too early, but he did good against Germany. Let's give him that, and then all of a sudden it's like the world's softest pass back to Ochoa, and it's just like you're just like, please don't let them score, just please don't let them score, because they could have easily scored that. Like any other player who has that opportunity probably does score it, but it was like they were the dominant team, and I don't think they were lucky to get the win. Yeah. But it's just those errors that can come back to bite us, and luckily it didn't in this game. Luckily nothing happened, but. Yeah, I think they were the dominant team. I think South Korea could have gotten another goal, but I think overall Mexico was going to win. They did win. So,
do you think we learned anything new from this match? And we've already talked about Salcedo a little bit there. We talked about Ochoa a little bit. We talked about Vela. I mean, do you think there's anything we knew? Maybe something that we learned from this match, which perhaps we didn't see in the first game?
Not necessarily that we didn't see in the first game, but I keep going back to how impressed I am with the physicality of this team. Yeah. It looks like Korea was out there to be physical, as physical as possible against these guys, to try to wear them down. And we saw time and time and again, they got fouled and fouled. How many yellow cards did Korea get? 5?
I'm glad you brought that up, because I think I have the list here. I think they got fouled. They've had 24 fouls in that game and collected a total of 4 yellow cards. So definitely a little aggressive in that game.
And it was constant. And I think that was Korea's plan. It was go out there, be physical, and try to intimidate this team on a counter, be fast. And what I learned is that Osorio has this team training for a very long time. If you've read Tom's great article on, the keys to the World Cup, on, how physical, how the athletic part of the game. You know, being him as an exercise science major and making sure that you're kept up with being the best athlete outside the field when it comes to being prepared. And I really, really enjoyed the fact that these guys continue not to be bullied by anybody that's taller than them or younger or faster, and are out there. What Vela is doing, 2, 3, 4 guys are on top of him, and he keeps going. He doesn't go down. With Chucky again, it kind of just reminds me that this team is ready for those super athletes, like Osorio used to say, right? And I think his mentality goes to it. For those Lukaku players, that are giant, that can just tower over the box, Salcedo's not afraid, and you can see that. And so I'm excited to see what's going forward, and that's something I've learned. Like we aren't the small team anymore that's afraid of these large physical teams, and that are there. I mean, just like we saw with Germany. I mean, it's not like they tower over us on corners or on centros or anything like that.
Did anyone
That's the
else?
thing to me. It seems to me that Mexico is mentally big at this point.
Yeah.
Just that mental toughness has really stuck out to me, because I agree with what Wisa was saying, that physicality that South Korea brought. In the past, with Mexico, that would have been concerning of what their reaction would be to that physicality. Would they snap at some point? Would some of the players go off and kind of lose their cool and not stay in the game because they're getting knocked off the ball, because they're getting fouled so much? And you didn't see anything like that from Mexico. Everyone was focused. Everyone was playing. It speaks of a team that's really on point and focused toward the task. And you saw it in the Germany match, and you definitely saw it in the South Korea match, where they're locked in, and it's really positive that way.
Did anyone feel like this match was a little reminiscent of a CONCACAF like hex match? Like this easily could have been in like the Azteca, and just like easily could have been like one of the CONCACAF minnows, and just kind of like sitting back, just allowing us to have possession of the ball, just like inviting us to push forward. And then when we did push forward, we were going to get fouled incessantly. I felt like there was so many. I feel like there was so many things that reminded me of a CONCACAF match while watching this game. Guys, I guess we could continue moving on, but I don't know. Is there anything else we want to talk about before looking ahead to the next section? I don't know. We could bring up. I mean, I guess Ochoa. We could bring up Salcedo again, Lozano. I mean, I guess we did bring up Lozano a little bit, how he was just very well-rounded. Saw him tracking back for the ball and doing quite well. I mean, he was one of the stars in the first half. But any other talking points you guys want to bring up regarding this match?
Yeah, as far as this second game, as far as the crowd and their being at the World Cup once more, you saw a much smaller stadium, and again, just it felt like people were singing a lot louder, obviously because of the small and the acoustics of the stadium. But something to point out, and this is maybe not non-football related, I think there's a lot of Mexican fans that were just tired because of 6 days of like Moscow no sleep partying, and after the Germany win, that when we're trying to do normal coverage that we do for Food Max Nation, Amy and I, it's like we're trying to find fans. Like, hey guys, are you guys gonna like do something so we can record? Because I think everyone has just been really tired. So it was more chill atmosphere, not like your normal.
Throw change on the floor. You're like, yeah, dance, come on guys. Like dance for
do something. We're trying to cover, get the color and all that, and everyone's just trekking to Rostov. It was a really, really hot day, they had everyone walking like. They had everyone walking at crazy as far as the stadium wise. Yeah, the great thing about Russia, everything is really, really well organized, but everyone has a specific entrance where you have to go through, and I mean, you got to go exactly one way. So if you're at 8, you can't just go from 1 to 8. You have to go 1, 2, 3. You got to walk all the way around to try to get there. So it was just a long ways to trying to get in. It was hot, and I think everyone, when they got to their seat, they're like, oh, okay, we're here. All right, yeah, there's a Korea World Cup game. Let's do it. Cool. But once, obviously, that first goal, I think everyone was just – it was electric. Once again, the atmosphere there at a World Cup is unmatched anywhere. But proud of the team, proud that we have those 6 points. Now comes the let's worry part here.
And the positive – sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, and then just from what we said, just like the positivity, because even when Vela stepped up to take the penalty, I don't know if you guys saw my video. That's not a promotion. That's just for the point of the story. The video of Vela scoring, like people were cheering for him. Like, like you can do it. I know, like during penalties, like sometimes it gets really quiet because people are nervous. But
Yeah.
for that one, they were like cheering him on, and when he scored, like people were hugging and like super happy. So I've been impressed, and also equally like reciprocal to the happiness that has been like, at the games, like from the fans. Because they left getting booed from the Azteca after a victory. So
And then
just
they're
like to,
cheering on Osorio there at the game.
yeah,
I was trying to get.
there, yeah.
I was trying to get a cheer. I was trying to get a cheer for Osorio from since halftime, and I was like, man, and then the cheering started just to be funny on that fact. And now the El Profe Osorio. That's kind of funny.
So weird, man. That was it boggles my mind still that fans were doing that. That fans are now on the Osorio hype train, which might be leaving
Also,
after.
also to say, we didn't hear the chant.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to bring that up. I'm glad you guys. Yeah, so you guys were at the stadium. Okay, so when you say, and I've seen a lot of reports say like, yeah, the chant wasn't there. Are you saying that maybe there are like maybe a few people were saying it, and then it just like some people stopped saying, or just like you genuinely did not hear a single person saying the chant?
No, you
What happened was,
yeah. Go ahead.
go ahead, Amy. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No. Well, at least from my point of view, like I don't know. You kind of like during the Germany game, you were like, oh, are they gonna say? Or you hear the build up, like how everybody goes, like, no. But like I like depending on checking my phone and stuff, depending on that, like I knew when there was a goal kick because there was no build up to it. You kind of expect it and stuff, but there was nothing. So like I would look up and I was like, oh, South Korea just kicked it, and then I think I saw a notification that said like, oh, cool, the no goalkeeper chant, and I was like, oh, that's right, nobody's saying it. So like, yeah, there wasn't even like a hint of it, or like you guys ready? Like any other fans like trying to get everybody, encouraging them and stuff. Like, no, I didn't hear any of that at all.
That's awesome.
Well,
That's fantastic to hear.
What I noticed is that it's funny because in the Germany, Neuer didn't let anybody do the chant as long as normally, right? Because he would always get it and just play with it. He would never. In this one, I think the very first time the goalie, he did the same thing as Neuer. He put it and he kicked it out, so there was nothing there. So that kind of like, if anybody was going to do it, it didn't happen. Then on the second time, there were people that, and that's what I kind of noticed, Amy. There were people that were ready to do it, and then everyone started yelling Mexico, Mexico, ta ta ta, Mexico. On the second one, everyone was kind of like, there was a group of people, and in credit to the Corazon Azteca guys, which is these guys have traveled to all the World Cups, who were gonna start chanting, other chants during the goal kick, and so anybody that was kind of wanting to do it just got thrown out by everyone else. I mean, if the goal kick stands and then you hear Chucky Lozano, you're not gonna do it anymore. So you started hearing everyone kind of chanting something else. So I give credit to the fans that were there that were trying to change it and that were trying to do something different than the goal chant. I think everyone was just like, well, no one's gonna do it anymore, and they just kind of stopped. Now I'm kind of, I want to question it whenever the goalie does something bad or something that we don't like, and then the chant kind of goes back to try to insult them in some way.
Or once the World Cup is over, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, all right, Liga MX season starts. Oh, it's everywhere again. Back to swear.
Oh no, it will be. It will be. Oh, this goal. I think the goalie chant. I mean, if we don't hear it on Wednesday, I don't think we will, and maybe through the rest of the World Cup. But I think it'll be back, and it'll be in all stadiums everywhere else. This was just for the World Cup. I know there's some supporter groups, some barras too. I think the Pumas, and I think somewhere else in the other, and some of the other Liga MX are not doing it because of it. But obviously, everyone else in the stadium is. And I know PVA friends, a bunch of Villa's Army, they've said specifically they will not do it. We'll try to at least, within the fan supporter group. So. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, aburre, like I keep saying, but we'll see how it goes.
Hopefully that continues. But guys, let's move on ahead. Let's talk about our worries. We all know that I have plenty of them, some non-related to soccer. But guys, enough about my anxiety. Guys, let's talk about Juan Carlos Osorio. Let's talk about the fact that he's been utilizing Rafa Marquez in these matches. And I think if we once again talk about worries, that is pretty high up there. So Jason, how worried are you? Let's do scale 1 to 10 here. How worried are you, scale to 1 to 10, that Osorio has been utilizing Rafa in these World Cup matches?
I'm gonna go ahead and put that at an 8. I'm pretty worried.
Okay.
The Rafa Marquez coming in, what was it, the 60-something minute in that match versus Korea? That was troubling. That was distinctly concerning.
Yeah.
It made sense. I mean, I wouldn't have done it personally, but it made sense the last 10 minutes versus Germany, where Mexico really just needed to hold the ball, hold some possession, just kill some of the attack off, and just kind of take some time off the clock. It made perfect sense against tired legs that have been pushing all game. 30 minutes versus Korea didn't make any sense at all to me. I mean, I don't understand that substitute. I think there's other options. As Angel said earlier, why not Jonah? And I agree with that completely. Why not Jonah? Because, I mean, he could do the job better than Rafa can. Rafa's a legend. I mean, he deserves all the praise in the world, but he's also 39 years old. He's also had, 6 competitive matches this calendar year. He's old, and he doesn't have it anymore, and he's rusty. I mean, you put all that together, it's not dependable. It's a cause for concern. So can he get the job done? Yeah, it's possible, but he could also cause a complete disaster, as we almost saw against Korea. So it's troubling moving forward. I hope the trend has stopped. I hope we don't see even more Rafa against Sweden, but I think it's possible. So I'm worried.
I'm worried about that too. I would put that at a 9 for me, but yeah, no, I'm definitely worried about that. Amy, for you, how worried are you on scale 1 to 10 about Herrera and Moreno both sitting on yellows? We don't want to see them getting a suspension anytime soon, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, well, I think I'm gonna go an 8. I'm pretty worried, just because, not because I think that they'll get yellows, but just because, like if it happens, that's it. They can't play the next match and stuff. So then that completely increases my worries. I don't think that they're not gonna play. I think they have to be part of the team that goes against Sweden. So couple that with the fact that they already have 2 cards, and it's just adds more anxiety to a game that's already going to be just completely nerve-wracking to watch. So yeah, I'm gonna go with an 8 on that question.
Yeah, you think about Moreno potentially being out of Mexico's defense. I know Salcedo's been doing great, but oh man. I'm really worried if Moreno was not a part of our back line. Weasel, for you, 1 to 10, you're worried about Osorio's substitution patterns. I mean, we saw Rafa, Gio, and Tecatito weren't exactly that exciting in the first match against Germany. It wasn't exactly thrilling. So how worried about JCO's substitution patterns?
You know what? Maybe because I haven't thought about it, but I'm not really that worried. I know that we all kind of didn't like him, but it's kind of what it is. What it is. It is what it is. I don't know. I just think that we were kind of like questioning when they came out in Germany. They worked great, I thought. I mean, all the substitution that he did in Germany worked in his favor. These kind of substitutions, I need to watch the game again. I really want to know at least what Gio did. What was his purpose of him being there? Maybe I'm missing it. Like what was his job to trying to do? That's my question. Rafa's gonna come in again. I know that he came on the first one. He's coming. That's what he's here for. He's here to do something. He's here to bring stability to the team. Again, his problem really wasn't that much defending. I guess I got to see it again. But people are saying that the defender blew past Rafa. I feel like he blew past like 3 or 4 people, and it was a golazo. Like, I don't think that was Rafa's fault in the goal. There was a part where Rafa did, just like Amy said, he was freaking out, even though I missed that part too. But Rafa doesn't do that very often, where he, doesn't give a good pass. Like, he's actually pretty good about passing the ball and distributing the ball. So I don't think Rafa's been doing
time where he's going to make a mistake.
True.
Right? We almost saw that. Yeah.
True, but he didn't do it against Germany. That's the thing. Like, give credit to the guy because he played a great game against Germany. It wasn't the Rafa from Atlas in the last 3 games. Like, he did great. So I'm continuing the fact that Rafa is ready to play, and Profe Osorio knows what he can do. So I'm looking at the subs. I mean, now we're seeing Edson on one side and we're seeing Gallardo on the other. I want to see Jonathan. I actually joked with Amy that we would have thought that Gio in this World Cup so far. So I don't know. I'm not really that worried. As far as the yellow cards, though, I'm not worried about that either. I would have been worried if Salcedo had a yellow. because I think
Yeah.
Cesaro is bound to get a yellow. I think Herrera isn't that. I don't know. I don't see him that much getting another yellow. When he has a yellow too, you can see that he kind of steps back too. Moreno has gotten himself in trouble before with yellow cards. That's my only worry. Because if one of those four in the back or anybody in their defense is not able, the starters is not able to play, that's when I get worried. Ayala, or whoever's going to come back, kind of hard.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Jason, 1 through 10. Sweden's ability to shut down top quality opponents. They almost did it against Germany. It was so close, and man, I was like, I know Mexico won earlier that day, but I don't know. I was in a bummed out mood for a little bit after seeing that result. But Jason, for you, Sweden's ability to shut down top quality opponents, is that a big worry?
It is. I mean, I think stylistically, I think this is a team that poses a lot of problems for Mexico. I mean, they are defensive by nature. I mean, you look at the way they qualified, going through European qualifying, shutting down. They're a big part of why the Netherlands missed out on the tournament. Obviously, going into that playoff with Italy, they're the reason Italy missed out on the tournament. And they did that by shutting them out, right, over 2 legs. So, I mean, just that defensive nature, the tall, strong defensive nature of Sweden is concerning because they're more than willing to sit back and shut down Mexico. But at the same time, the ability they have the forward to break and to score a goal out of nothing. So it's stylistically, it's a bit of a problem. And we saw Mexico running into a bit of a wall against Korea, whose defense isn't really all that impressive, to be perfectly blunt about it. So it's concerning. It's not something where it's I don't think it's a massive thing, but their ability to shut us down is concerning. I put it at maybe a 6. It's okay. A worry. It's a worry for sure.
All right, a 6. All right, Amy, final one for you. Being one of the few teams to ever get knocked down the group stage with 6 points, what's your worry about that possibility? If we somehow, it hurts my soul to say this, but if we somehow win the first 2 matches and one of them is against the current title holders and we still get knocked out, how worried are you for that happening?
I want to not be that worried, so I'm going, because I need to give an answer. So I'm going to go with 6.5. Don't want it to be a 7 because 7's too high for me to be completely worried. But
you don't want to send too many negative vibes out there in the soccer world, and then it's all your fault.
I just don't want the universe to have on record that I said 7 and something happened. It's see, you weren't optimistic. But man, it's just after yesterday, and then Lisa and I are watching the game, and he's saying all the possibilities. Okay, it's every time somebody scored, he was okay, if Iran scores next, then this is gonna happen. It's not even our group, so it's that's what it's gonna be on Wednesday. Just simultaneous games and just trying to make sure. I mean, Mexico's in a good place right now where we started. They should be able to win. That's always been the objective. That's the objective that they keep declaring publicly when they have press conferences and stuff. So go into it with that, But I mean, the stuff that's been happening in this World Cup, you also can't just be too sure about anything. Yeah. So I'm gonna go 6.5. I don't want to say a 7, so because I don't want to send bad juju anywhere. So 6.5.
I just realized we won't be able to see what's happening in the other game. I know it sounds stupid because we'll be at the game, but I was when you said that, I was oh yeah, we'll be kind of cool to look back at the other game. I'm holy crap, I'm not gonna be able to see what's going on in the other game.
You could stream the other game on your phone, right?
Yeah. No, that's not gonna happen here in close to Kazakhstan border.
I have no idea.
Hey, if you have my text, if you have my phone number for any of you guys, let's see if anybody's out there that just text me every time Germany or Sweden score. Okay, go ahead. I do get text messages, so if you were watching this and you have my phone number, I think maybe. Sure, yeah, post it up. 867-5309. Go ahead.
I'm gonna sign you up for daily cat facts. There you go. Daily cat facts every day.
Daily cat facts.
All right, guys, let's look ahead to Wednesday's match against Sweden. Let's talk about expectations. Jason, what comes to mind when you think about expectations for the and their final group stage match against Sweden?
I'm kind of like looking at the thing I always think about first is like the lineup and will we see the rotations? And for Mexico going into Sweden, I actually kind of think we're going to see a similar lineup again. I don't think there's going to be a big change. And it's surprising because everything is set up for rotations in this. I mean, you have the short turnover from the last match. You have a very different opponent than the last. I mean, it makes sense that you would alter this greatly, but I kind of feel like we're going to see something similar to what we saw against Germany again and what we saw against Korea. I don't think there's going to be massive changes. I think we saw some of those substitutes come in, and at least against Korea, they really kind of unsettled what was going on. I don't think it worked out at all. Probably not the best choices off the bench nonetheless, but I think the 11 is somewhat set, and I think we're going to kind of see them again. So for me, that's what I expect to see, a similar lineup, a similar roster out there.
So are we going to see those rotaciones, or are we just going to see like one rotation and then we'll all just kind of like shrug our shoulders, be like, all right, I guess this is his new thing now, apparently.
No, I honestly believe. Wait, am I mute? Oh no,
Yep.
Sorry. That's because I was coughing a lot.
Yes,
I honestly believe we might see this. We're gonna see the same starting 11 as the second game, the Korea game. Yeah. And if not, maybe one, maybe an Edson coming out, or at least what happened against Germany. But I think he's set on this lineup. I think they've been playing well. I think they've been practicing well. It's now going to be, what do you do? Because we're waiting for that Germany game to a team that obviously had a lot of skill in how they practiced then. Then we were waiting for Korea to put all their men back, and we had to break that, counter the bus, parking the bus. Now we're going against the Sweden team, who can't stay all the way back because they have to have a win in order for them to qualify. Right? They got to come forward, but at the same time, they're going to try to counter just like the way they did against Germany. So it's going to be it's kind of like a mix. Like now we're playing, we played a team that like Germany, we played a totally different team like Korea. Now it's kind of like both of those teams are playing, in that same way. So I suspect that there aren't going to be that many changes either, or big rotations. He'll continue to use Layun where he's continuing to using him. And Chicharito's going to keep dropping back and trying to feed those balls over to the wings and looking for, Chucky Lozano to do something, or looking for Chicharito Hernandez. By the way, we didn't even talk about Chicharito Hernandez's 50th goal. I just reminded how continued what he's doing. By the way, there you go.
Congratulations. I'm sure he's watching right now. Congratulations, Chicharito.
Yes, Chicharito,
well
congratulations.
You forget your Cheech.
Yeah, hold on. Eventually got to jump on the show. I know why you're hiding in the chat over there. All right, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry. Were you say something else we saw other than the Chicharito goal, the whatnot?
No. That's imaginémonos cosas chingonas. You're going to be in the Mexican soccer show one.
Hey, I have a question about Layun, because every time, especially in that Germany match, every time he missed a shot that he probably should have made, I kept thinking, like, I really wish there was someone in that position who could make shots, and Layun was just continuing missing chances. But at the same time, I recognized that how important he was coming back and covering that whole distance of the field was pretty important to what worked in Germany at the same time. So, but I kept thinking, man, it would make sense to have someone else in there. And I kind of wonder if against someone that's not Germany, it makes sense for someone else to be in that position with a little more shooting acumen. Do you think that? Do you agree with that? Or is there someone else that could be used in that position that would make sense?
Who would that person be then? Is there a certain person that comes?
Fabian?
In that.
But he uses Layun. He uses Layun instead in that interior coming from, that's the thing. I don't see another player play like that, like you can play, because he uses him almost as a weird defensive mid that comes all the way up, forward on any of the counters, on any of the runs. It's kind of, and I don't see another player that has his qualities as fast as that, covering so much ground that Layun does, or unless he's not using that system.
You can see that against South Korea too. Is you notice, like, as the match progressed, he was just sitting further and further and further back, and then by the end of the game, he was just essentially a fullback, which it would be fairly. I mean, Osorio doesn't have to make a sub for that. Layun just drops back that far back, almost as like a wing back, and he's completely comfortable in that role. So I don't know who that other replacement could be. I mean, I guess you could say to an extent, No, not even him. No, I think it has to be Layun. I mean, if you want him to be providing you with opportunities to attack and also comfortably step back and provide you with some decent defensive cover, that would be Layun. Maybe Gallardo a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe Gallardo a little bit, but he's playing on the other side. I mean, we saw Lozano's capable of doing that too. He did quite well defensively, but I think when it comes to well-rounded players, I mean, it's difficult to have anyone that's better than Layun, someone who's played in every position other than a striker or goalkeeper for club or country.
I agree.
Yeah,
And the guy I kept thinking of was Aquino, but again, because I think he could come back and he could chip in a lot defensively, but not necessarily the best shooter on the team either. So
Yeah.
it's kind of probably take Layun shots, to be honest.
I would see. I think Fabian's definitely going to come in though.
Yeah, I think Tom's been talking about that a little bit. He's been mentioning it so often that I'm like, I guess it has to happen. Tom's like wishing it to happen at this point, so I'm just going to go with it. But yeah, Tom was mentioning about Fabian potentially getting the start because the reasoning is because Sweden are going to be so compact and very defensive that we're going to have to take more shots from distance. And when you think about players who could take shots from distance, Fabian's probably at the top of the list. You could also say Herrera, maybe Layun too, but I would say Fabian is Mexico's best shot taker from outside the 18-yard box. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Fabian were to play. But then if Fabian were to play, where would he start in the 11? Is it still a 4-2-3-1? I mean, we got a question on the chat that said from IBNB 10 2 exclamation point. You gotta have a very complicated name. He says, will it still be 4-2-3-1 lineup? I could see that with maybe if you have Herrera and Guardado as defensive midfielders and Fabian like right above them. Maybe you can have
who's that one on that 4-2-3-1 though? I don't. These whole lineups. It feels like with Osorio, they're it never stays that way. And depends on what's happening going forward and going back. So it's like because there's I'm looking at that. It's you can still have Fabian there.
Yeah.
Subbed in, and I know if we see a Carlos Vela, or or even having a subbing a Chicharito, I'm putting Fabian in the way that he drops, the way Chicharito drops back so much, I can even see Fabian doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Distributing the ball instead of distributing the ball, that's when he shoots. We've seen games where he's told you need to shoot the ball every single time. He shot 4 or 5 times there in Santa Clara. And he said that's what Osorio told him to do. So, all
right. Well, let's talk about the Sweden game a little bit more too. Amy, how will this match play out? I mean, to me, in theory, Sweden are just going to sit back. They're going to try to absorb pressure from Mexico, and they're going to try to counter Mexico, and Mexico's just going to try to break them down. I mean, that's what makes sense to me. I don't. What do you think, Amy?
I don't know. There's something for me. Like Lisa was saying, they have to win. This is a must win for Sweden. So yeah, they have to be cautious about Mexico coming and trying to get a goal of their own. I mean, Mexico just needs to. Well, we don't even know the possibilities. So many different possibilities, but I don't know. I think it might be the most exciting in terms of a back and forth from both teams because Mexico wants to win because they want all 9 points, and then Sweden needs to get a goal. So I feel like this might be the most exciting match, not just because of the pressure that's on the game, but just because I feel like they're not going to sit back that much. I feel like they're going to be cautious, but I feel like it's going to be like very, very back and forth the whole match. I really, really feel like that's going to be the way
I really hope so because I think it might be a 1-0 game. I think it might be a 1-0 match, like win there for Mexico. So I do, and I was thinking about that too because obviously Sweden needs to push here and get that win. They can't afford to get a draw. So I do hope that they push forward and that it gave Mexico a little bit more space in defense. But I just don't know if that's part of their DNA. I do wonder if they think that perhaps that would still be too risky, and the more practical thing would be continue sitting back and to try to hit Mexico off counters. But I do really, really, really hope that they do push forward and try to make things difficult. But let's see what happens. Jason, your thoughts on the match, maybe even just a prediction as well.
I'm just hoping that Mexico comes out, and I'm confident they will actually really pushing for an early goal, really come out like we saw them against Germany, just taking it to the other team in every aspect. Because I think Mexico, they need to score. They can't. We don't have a team that could sit back and just absorb and play defense for 90 minutes. It's not that kind of team. I mean, Osorio's always been attack-minded and offensive in his setup, and I think they need to be themselves here and go out and try to break through that Sweden defense. Sweden is going to be tough to score on. It's not going to be easy, and Mexico's going to need plenty of chances, I think, to get it done. 1 or 2 goals, and they're going to be pretty well safe, right? Because I don't think Mexico is going to collapse, but I think Sweden's going to have a good chance to score. So Mexico just needs to get those goals, and I think they're going to come out and push hard and really press them hard at the beginning. I hope we get that we've seen a lot from Mexico, that first 20 minutes where it's like, wow, this team is going. And I kind of expect to see it here because there's going to be some scary moments in this match. It's just going to happen. For as much as Sweden, I think Sweden, we're talking about them sitting back, and I think they're pretty good at being able to be a consistent put some consistent pressure on the opposing defense while not getting out of shape. And that's what I think above anything else, it's what they're good at. So I think that Sweden will get their chances. I think they're probably going to score. Mexico just needs to get at least a goal at some point to really feel a little bit more comfortable in this. I kind of think they will get an early goal in this one.
I hope so. I hope so. So before I go to Weasel here on his predictions, so everyone in the chat, feel free to send out your predictions on the chat, and I'll be reading those out in just a second. But Weasel, for you, predictions. What do you think is going to happen? Is Mexico going to win? Is Chicharito going to get a hat trick? Am I going to have the best day ever? What's happening here, Weasel?
No hat trick for sure for Chicharito. I would have to say that's definitely not going to happen.
That's
I will. It's funny. I said that to Amy. I go first 0-0. Here it comes for the World Cup, Mexico versus Sweden. But then when I started analyzing, everything says Mexico is ready and is going to score some goals. Sweden wasn't playing that great when they needed to attack against Korea. We look back at that game. They've played against Germany, and sure, they counterattack and it was great, but that was very, I think in the first goal, the defensive mistake. So it all seems, if we're looking on paper, it looks like Mexico's going to do good. It's going to do well, and it's going to have a good game. Now, the reality is it's going to be a hard-fought game, just like Jason says. I think, Sweden's going to go out and try to win this match and try to get a goal early. And once they get a goal early, then it's where we can worry, right? And because we've seen Mexico struggle against teams that are that can at least play the bunker ball really well, and I think Sweden is able to do that. Other than that, I think as far as a prediction, I'm going to go with a 2-1 Mexico again. I think there will be a score goal, and it will be like a 1-1. Hey, at least we're going to tie, and then Mexico's going to surprise and give us another goal. 2-1. We'll see.
Rafa Marquez, bicycle kick.
We'll go Rafa.
89th minute.
Rafa, yeah.
He gets the man of the match award, but then Budweiser's like, nah, dude, you can't get the man of the match award. And it gets really awkward.
But I could also see a tie, though. So, I could also see like a 1-1 tie, and Mexico gets 7 points, still leader of the group.
That's what I got. I got 1-1. I think that's where it's going to end. I think it'll end a tie. I think it's going to be tense. So we're going to end with a good 20 minutes of anxiety. Please don't let them score. Please don't let them score because Germany's going to win. Germany's going to beat Korea.
Please don't let them score. Please don't let them score. Oh, God, Germany is winning 3-0 now.
Yes. So, but I think we'll pull down. I think we'll get the draw.
In group stages, it feels like Mexico, whenever we really, really need a result, I'm saying group stages. But, against Germany, do you remember the Croatia game, right? When we were like, Croatia, look who they have. Look at the team that they had against Mexico and what they were saying, and Modric and everyone. And it's 3-1. We totally dominated Croatia. So
yeah, that was going to be my prediction. Let's just go out like Croatia, like we did against Croatia, get a 3-1.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a 1. I mean, it just kind of like reiterating what everyone has already said. I'm going with a 1-0 win for Mexico. I don't think it's going to be easy. I think this could be extremely tough for El Tri. I wouldn't be surprised if the goal shows up in the second half. Might need a little bit of luck. I don't know if it's going to come off a set piece or if it's going to be off a court. I think it's going to be really difficult for them. But I do think Mexico finds a way to get a 1-0 win here. And I do hope that Sweden is forced to to pressure a little bit and to give Mexico a little bit more space in the attack. But yeah, 1-0 win. And for those wondering, yeah, in order to get to the next round, Mexico just needs a tie or a win against Sweden to go through. If you really want to go deeper into it, they could also go through if South Korea gets a tie or if they beat Germany. And if they're able to do that, then Mexico could still go through if they lose. But then if Mexico loses if Mexico loses to Sweden by more than 1 goal, and if Germany beats South Korea, then I think Mexico would therefore be knocked out. And it gets so much more complicated. I mean, we have here some of the tiebreakers, but how do we even begin just going through? There is no way to really go through it. You have to wait for for the day of, because some of these tiebreakers are going to be really ridiculous. Say if Mexico were to lose 1-0, and if Germany were to beat South Korea, that's when things get fascinating to see where that's going to go, because then that therefore means that Mexico, Germany, and Sweden are all going to have 6 points. And if Germany gets a narrow win, let's say they win 1-0, then everyone would have the same goal differential, and everyone would have the same goals scored as well. So
it goes points, then it goes goals, the goal differential. Mm-hmm. Then after that, it goes goals for scored. Mm-hmm. Then it goes goals against. And then what's after that?
So it's goals scored
head to head.
No.
Basically, so points, goal differential, goals scored. Jason wrote this down for this. I didn't remember this. I can't remember this. So after that, it's from points from matches involved in the tied teams, and then it's goal.
That would be a 3-way tie, so wait. It would be that irrelevant.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay,
yeah. So what's the next one?
After that, it is. Are we talking about if the teams are tied or just after points? After goals scored. This is already confusing. Yeah. This is
it's a 3-way tie. You know, everyone's got 6 points.
Right.
Yeah.
So goal differential first, right? Goals scored second, and like as Cesar said, very real possibility that the 3 ends up tied, and those first 2 tiebreakers are all a tie after that. The third tiebreaker is irrelevant because it's like taking Korea out of the equation and the points scored. It would all be the same. The fourth would be goal differential in the matches between the teams, like take out the Korea games, the goal differential in those matches, and that just gets like crazy complicated.
So 1-0 for Mexico.
Goals scored in those matches. After that, it's fair play, at least number of cards,
which we're doing better on.
Seventh tiebreaker is random draw. So it's in play. It's possible.
And then if the draw is split in half and 50-50, dance off. I choose Guardado. I've seen some good answers from the guy. Maybe Herrera.
So we're actually pretty good. We're actually, if it's that 6-way tie, it's a 3-way tie, because we have 1, and because we have a +1 goal differential, and we've scored 2 goals, only scored once. Sweden has. Oh, they have a 0. They have a 0, right? They have a 0.
Right. So if Sweden and Germany win and we all end up tied, everyone they all by 1 goal, everyone's +1, right? So that it's
that's right. That's right, because they would be able to win by 1 goal.
Mexico needs to not lose, so we don't have to even think about this stuff.
So basically, Mexico needs to not lose, need to get a draw or win. But if they do lose, then you hope that South Korea and Germany either draw or South Korea wins. Yes. There we go. If that happens, woo, good, we're done. We'll go to the round of 16, and it's going to be a lot less complicated. But if Mexico loses and if Germany wins, things might get a little weird. Yeah. Things might get a little weird. All right. So
I like on the chat. I choose Memo for a dance-off. Tony Kroos versus Memo dance-off. See who wins.
I'm going to read off some of the predictions that some of the fans have online. So, Senor Bautista says Mexico 5, Sweden 0. JP Santoyo says 1-1. Giovanna Sanchez says 1-1 or 2-2. Our buddy Joel says 2-2. Eduardo Dueñas says 3-1 Mexico. Someone says park the taco truck. Miguel says 2-0 Mexico. Ooh, I like this. 3-1 another Croatia 2014. I like it.
I'll take Croatia 2002.
I'll not take Croatia 2018 because that would be very scary. Guys, guys, I think that about wraps it up. I guess we're a few minutes past 8 o'clock. It's getting late where Jason's at. I don't even know what time it is with Amy and we. So I don't even know.
8 o'clock in the morning.
I don't. I'm still confused. I don't know. But anywho, thanks to everyone on the chat. Thanks to everyone who took part in today's episode. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Weasel. And for today's episode, we'll have Weasel close us out. Weasel, close us out for today's episode of Mexican Soccer Show.
All right, guys, this is it. We have been waiting for it. We said Sweden was going to be the most important match, and it didn't matter if we beat Germany or we lost or we tied or anything, or even what happened with Korea. It's all about Sweden. Remember that this team has been training for these matches for a very long time. Even though our nerves as fans come in, it has to do because we were hurt by Osorio, and that's never going to go away. But imaginémonos cosas chingonas. We're going to go out there. We're going to show that the fact that, we have high quality players, and whenever they're all in sync, I feel that big things are going to happen. We're already starting to look at, what are the possible matchups that we have. And I'll say this, I have not seen a team that's really like amazing, taking over and beating great teams. We've seen England, 5 goals, 6 goals against Panama or Belgium, but who have they played with? We saw Spain and Ronaldo's Portugal struggling against weaker teams. So we keep thinking of what the possibilities may come. We can do great things in this World Cup, but we first have to beat a Sweden team that, again, could not do that much against Korea, barely won. So I think we're going to win. It's going to be historic. And you guys are all going to, have Juan Carlos Osorio's shirts in the next matches, because I think he's going to show us that he's been working really, really, really hard. By the way, this hat, it's a great hat. You guys, thanks for all the jokes. I was laughing really with all the things that you guys said on the chat, and I'm a little sick. That's why they're like, we still get some sleep. That, and I haven't slept a lot, so thank you for that.
All right, well said, Weso. Weird thing about the hats. Thanks everyone, and we'll see you all in the next edition of the Mexican Soccer Show. See you guys around.